At the petrol station, the line wraps around the block. One question echoes louder than the rest. How close are we to the edge? These 10 US states are hanging by a thread. And if that thread snaps, it won't just be headlines. It'll be home. Hospitals, teachers, state workers, and leaders are now pleading for federal lifelines, just to keep the lights on. In some states, one bad storm could crush an entire budget. In others, jobs are vanishing, crime is soaring, or debt is spiraling out of control. Stick around, number 1 will shock you the most. Starting from number 10, Illinois. The headlines say recovery, but drive through parts of Illinois, and it feels more like a retreat. Empty shops, broken pension promises, and the crushing weight of over $140 billion in pension debt. A ticking time bomb that only gets worse. Businesses are fleeing because of soaring property taxes. Schools are losing funding. Chicago might steal the spotlight, but small communities are suffering in silence, and some are close to falling apart. Can a state keep borrowing from tomorrow just to survive today? Without serious reform, Illinois may not survive what's coming next. Number 9 _ New Jersey. From the outside, New Jersey looks stable, close to New York City, high incomes and busy roads. But warning signs are flashing. One of the highest debt loads in the country. Underfunded pensions. More than 70,000 people left in just 1 year. And when they go, the tax base shrinks, but the bills remain. New Jersey depends on corporate and commuter income. But when those disappear, everything else starts to collapse, from schools to city services. Some communities are already cutting corners just to function. And without major changes, the damage will only grow deeper. Number 8, Connecticut. Connecticut shines on the surface. Elite universities, charming towns, and high incomes. But speak to longtime residents, and they'll tell you, something feels off. The state is deeply in debt. Pensions are costing billions. And the tax base? Shrinking. Big corporations have fled for lower taxes elsewhere. Property taxes are soaring. And some families are being priced out of homes they've owned for generations. Meanwhile, younger residents are leaving, and the working-age population is shrinking. Cities like Hartford are facing fiscal emergencies, and the economy is now reliant on the financial sector. A fragile foundation in uncertain times. Connecticut looks calm now, but one market shock could bring the whole system crashing down.
Number 7, Kentucky. Rolling hills, coal country pride, tight-knit communities. But parts of Kentucky are already in crisis. Hospitals are closing, infrastructure is decaying, and many areas still rely heavily on coal and government assistance. As coal jobs vanish and factories automate, entire towns are left behind.
1 in 3 people in some regions live below the poverty line, and the state has one of the worst-funded pension systems in the nation. Add to that the opioid crisis, draining families, first responders, and local resources, and it's clear, this isn't just economic. This is survival. Some towns like Pikeville are trying to reinvent themselves, but progress is slow, and the younger generation is leaving. If change doesn't come soon, an entire way of life may disappear. Number 6, Louisiana. Louisiana is soul, music, food, festivals, and culture. But the numbers tell a darker story. 1 football field of land disappears every hour to erosion and sea level rise. The state has one of the highest poverty rates in the country, and the oil and gas sector, once its lifeline, is weakening. The education system is underfunded. Rural hospitals are closing. Insurance premiums are skyrocketing after each hurricane season, and some families can no longer rebuild their homes. New Orleans may symbolize resilience, but across the state, opportunity is drying up. And the question remains, what happens when the next disaster strikes, and there's nothing left to fall back on? Number 5, Pennsylvania. Old steel towns, brick homes, rolling hills. Pennsylvania still carries the weight of its past. But something deeper is crumbling. Cities like Wilkes-Barre, Johnstown, and Erie feel frozen in time. Populations are shrinking, some by more than 25%. Coal is gone. Steel is a shadow. And while places like Pittsburgh are trying to rebuild, rural areas are falling further behind. Infrastructure is crumbling. The opioid crisis has turned deadly, with overdose deaths now outpacing car crashes in some counties. Schools are dangerously underfunded. Young professionals are leaving, stealing talent from towns that need it most. And the question becomes, how many more patches can be applied before the foundation gives way? Number 4, California. From afar, California still shines. But underneath, the Golden State is cracking. Even six-figure incomes can't keep up with rent. 500,000 people have left since 2020, driven out by the high cost of living, failing public services, and a growing housing crisis. The power grid is strained. Wildfires are out of control. Insurance companies are abandoning entire regions, leaving residents unprotected. A once booming tech sector has cooled. Revenue is falling. The state now faces a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit, and rural communities are collapsing while coastal elites debate climate policy. So the real question is, how long can California keep pretending to be prosperous when its systems are breaking down? Number 3, Arizona. Endless skies. Desert dreams. Arizona is booming but breaking at the seams. The state has seen one of the biggest population surges in the country. But infrastructure isn't keeping up. 40% of its water comes from the Colorado River, which is drying up. Lake Mead and Lake Powell are at historic lows. Some towns are drilling deeper just to survive. Meanwhile, Phoenix just endured record-breaking heat, consecutive days over 110 degrees Fahrenheit, straining hospitals and power grids. Housing prices are soaring. Inflation is biting. Public services are falling behind. And political gridlock over immigration, voting, and climate is making everything worse. Can Arizona adapt in time? Or is the desert promise slowly turning to dust? Number 2, Maryland. Suburban wealth. Historic charm. The buzz of Baltimore. But scratch the surface and you'll see a state in trouble. Baltimore's neighborhoods are struggling. Crime is rising. Poverty is persistent. Schools are falling behind. And the jobs that once supported families, gone. Maryland relies heavily on federal contracts and services. Any budget cut or delay in Washington causes ripple effects throughout the state, costing jobs, hurting businesses, and raising uncertainty. Congested roads, aging bridges, and crumbling public transit are holding people back. An aging population and widening wealth gap are stretching healthcare and social services thin. And the future workforce? Young professionals are moving out to places with more affordability and more opportunity.
So we ask, can Maryland rise to meet the challenge? Or is it quietly heading for collapse? Number 1, Alaska. Alaska, the final frontier. Towering mountains, icy fjords, and wild freedom. But today, Alaska is fighting for survival. The state has long depended on oil revenue. But global markets are shifting. Prices are dropping. And the once famous oil dividend that supported families is now shrinking fast. Budgets are tightening. Schools, hospitals, and infrastructure are being cut. And young Alaskans are leaving in search of opportunity.
Climate change is rewriting everything. Melting permafrost is breaking roads and homes. Coastal erosion is swallowing entire villages. Food prices are skyrocketing. And wildfires are more dangerous than ever. Some communities face food insecurity or rely entirely on expensive imports. Alaska isn't just battling the cold, it's battling collapse. And when a state this vast begins to falter, the effects will echo far beyond its frozen borders. These 10 states are not just statistics. They're real places with real people, families, futures, communities. From California's collapsing dream to Alaska's crumbling frontier, these stories are your wake-up call. These aren't faraway problems, they're unfolding right here, right now. If this video opened your eyes, hit the subscribe button. If someone you know lives in one of these states, share this video with them, because awareness is the first step to change. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.